1. The river mindset. The idea of the river describes a certain type of personality often found in competitive environments such as Las Vegas, Wall Street, and Silicon Valley. These are people who combine analytical thinking with a willingness to take risks. Unlike the traditional image of someone who is purely cautious and calculating, members of this community use their skills to step into uncertain situations where outcomes are not guaranteed. What sets them apart is their ability to balance two qualities: careful reasoning and bold action. They are not reckless, but they are also not afraid of challenges. This mix allows them to explore opportunities that others may ignore or dismiss. Sometimes their choices lead to strong success, and other times they may face failure. But the mindset is about being comfortable with both possibilities. The river mindset is dynamic. It thrives in situations where the rules are not always clear and where flexibility matters. By treating uncertainty as a normal part of life, people with this mindset continue to learn, adapt, and grow. They remind us that progress often comes from those who are willing to calculate the risks, accept the challenges, and move forward with thoughtful confidence. Being a conscientious contrarian in competitive fields, many successful people share a trait of thinking differently from the majority. This is often called being contrarian. However, it is not about disagreeing for the sake of being different. Instead, it is about being a conscientious contrarian, someone who carefully considers the evidence before choosing a path that may go against popular opinion. Most of the time, the collective judgment of many people, often called the wisdom of crowds, is fairly reliable. Markets, for example, are hard to outperform because they reflect the combined knowledge of many skilled individuals. But there are moments when solid evidence suggests a different direction. A conscientious contrarian recognizes these opportunities and is willing to act on them. This approach requires balance. It is unwise to rely on a single model, one person's view, or one philosophy alone, because every source has limitations. Instead, strong decisions come when multiple signals or indicators point in the same direction. This layered evidence creates a foundation for making thoughtful choices. Being a conscientious contrarian means having the patience to wait for such moments, the discipline to evaluate them fairly, and the confidence to act when the evidence supports moving away from the majority view. 3. Quick and informed estimation. One of the defining habits of effective decision-makers is their ability to work with incomplete information. In today's world, events move quickly, and waiting for perfect data often means missing the chance to act at the right time. This is especially true in competitive areas like business, technology, or markets, where being early can make a major difference. The skill lies in making reasonable estimates even when not all details are available. Instead of aiming for perfection, these individuals focus on identifying which information is the most reliable at an early stage. By doing so, they can form a strong enough picture to move forward while others are still waiting for more certainty. This approach does not mean ignoring risks or acting without thought. It means balancing speed with judgment. A quick estimate, if based on dependable signals, can often be more useful than a perfect answer that arrives too late. Over time, practice helps refine these skills. Just as experience sharpens intuition in games or professions, decision-makers learn how to weigh evidence and apply it effectively. Quick and informed estimation allows them to stay adaptive and maintain an advantage in fast-changing environments. For calculating decisions. Like poker, decision-making often involves weighing probabilities, and poker provides a useful example of this process. In poker, every action is tied to numbers. Players calculate the chances of winning compared to the size of the bet. For instance, if the pot is a certain size and the cost to stay in the game is half of that, a player must decide whether the likelihood of success justifies the risk. This same principle applies outside of poker. In business, investing, or everyday choices, the goal is not to predict the future with certainty, but to think in terms of probabilities and outcomes. By assigning values to possible results, decision-makers can make clearer choices about when to proceed and when to step back. Developing this skill takes practice. Poker players sharpen it by playing thousands of hands, while professionals in other fields improve it through repeated experience and careful reflection. What matters most is being explicit in the reasoning process, even if the calculation is rough. By turning complex situations into numbers and probabilities, people create a structured way to act under uncertainty. This approach reduces guesswork and builds confidence in decisions, even when the outcome is not guaranteed. 5. The raise or fold principle. In poker, there are 3 basic options: raise, call, or fold. Many beginners tend to call too often, which means they stay in the game passively without taking strong action. Experienced players, however, learn that the most effective long-term strategy usually involves either raising or folding. In other words, they commit with confidence when the situation is right, or they step away when it is not. This idea can serve as a useful metaphor for everyday life. In careers, relationships, or personal projects, being overly passive often leads to limited progress. Instead, choosing to either move forward with purpose or to walk away can help preserve time, energy, and resources. For example, leaving a job that no longer fits or ending a project that does not show promise can create space for better opportunities in the future. The raise or fold principle is not about avoiding effort. It is about making clear decisions rather than remaining stuck in the middle. By focusing on decisive actions, people maintain their ability to adapt when new information becomes available. This approach keeps options open and encourages thoughtful choices in situations where uncertainty is unavoidable.